Nobody tells you that living in Florida means you're trapped in your house for half the year. I am suffering. I'm waking up at 4 a.m., parched every night, dehydrated from the heat that I didn't even go outside in. I'm cranking the AC 24/7, and that electric bill is a mini heart attack every month. But there's nothing to do here. Unless you're drinking or spending money, all we have are bars with $8 beers and old men ranting about politics. That's a hard pass from me. The one trendy and aesthetic coffee shop is 25 minutes away by car, $8 for a latte, and it closes at 2. Even going to lunch now is $16 for a Cuban sandwich, and it used to be double the size. So what can I do? I can scroll on the couch every day, all day. I swear, this isn't living. This is just surviving. And it is only getting worse. I grew up here. I've been here my entire life. I remember 4th of July barbecues, taking the boat to the sandbar, sitting on the back porch at night, watching the beautiful Florida sunset until the mosquitoes kicked in. All of that sounds awful now. Maybe I changed, okay? Maybe I lost my heat tolerance, but I know I'm not the only one. I'm just so bored, and I live in a city, so what now?
So this is a PSA to anyone who is really thinking about moving to Florida, especially if you have young kids. Don't do it. Don't ever bring your kids over here. That is child abuse. Now, first of all, not only do we have the worst school system ever, the Republicans are actively trying to defund public school, and they're giving that money to charter school in which they don't have certified teachers. That is why we are dropping in SAT scores.
If you're currently considering moving to Florida, there are 2 things that you should know. 1, I just spent over $100 at the grocery store just buying some things for dinner, a glass of wine, and a thing of coffee creamer. 2, it is 5 p.m. and it is currently 101 degrees outside, which is actually nicer than it has been the last few days where it was 103 to 105. Plus there's not as much humidity today. So that's what it's like in Florida. Choose wisely.
Florida used to be the go-to destination, sunshine, beaches, Disney, nightlife. So the state sold itself, okay? Back in the day, everybody used to love going to Florida. But fast forward to today, something has changed. Tourism is down, locals are struggling, and the so-called Florida dream is fading very fast.
Imagine being a nurse in Florida and having to ask for permission to quit. That's where we are now. See, Florida's Choice Act just didn't sneak in. It slid through without DeSantis even signing it. It's one of the most extreme non-compete laws in the country. We're talking 4 years where certain workers, especially high earners, can't leave to work for a competitor. That includes a whole bunch of healthcare workers, tech folk, finance, and even executive level folks at nonprofits. And if your job decides to sue you, you can't even work somewhere else while the case is in court. So you're stuck with no income, just waiting. So y'all, we gotta call it what it is. It's a trap. This ain't about protecting opportunity. This is about rich donors like Ken Griffin helping to write laws to keep you stuck in a place while they continue to make money. See, Florida keeps selling out working people to corporations. First it was housing, then it was education. Now it's your freedom to leave a job. And folks wonder why healthcare workers and teachers are leaving red states. So if you ever wanted to know what economic control looks like, it looks just like this.
Okay, let's start with salaries. Florida's economy is an economy that runs on tourism and service jobs. So think hotels, restaurants, theme parks, and stuff like that. But these jobs pay some of the lowest wages in the country. The median salary here is far below what it takes to cover rent, groceries, and healthcare. So while millions visit Florida expecting a cheap vacation, workers are barely scraping by. And when locals struggle, the tourist experience suffers too. Long wait times, worker shortages, and businesses shutting down.
Florida is no joke. It is not for the weak. 100%. Did you know that the 2 largest homeless camps in Florida are in Pasco County? I don't know why they keep telling you northerners to move here because it is a shithole. They got one camp by McDonald's on 19 and 52 that is so large that it's spilled out into the outside. It's the only one that you can see from the road. You can actually see people sleeping in the road because there's so many people in the woods. Florida is not a homeless-friendly state. They don't care about them, and they don't have any help programs for them or anything like that. And since the pandemic, it's got worse because there wasn't any infrastructure or support to begin with. When they raised the rent 60 to 80% but kept the pay ridiculously low, no one can afford it. And who knows how many people are actually in there. There's probably thousands. And it's like crazy because everyone just ignores the problem. They just go on with their lives like nothing is happening. I would love to be able to go in there and, feed them one day, bring them. They don't really need blankets, but maybe some flip-flops or something so that they could walk around. But I can't even afford to feed myself. So there was so many people on that video that were commenting like, it's such a great place to live. I've been here for 6 months and I've never been happier. It's because you haven't seen what Florida's really like yet.
Listen, I know this isn't going to sit well with everyone, but if you don't need to, please do not travel to Florida. Not for a quick getaway, not for a girls trip, not for the Disney vibes, nothing. The state of Florida just built that alligator concentration camp, and the city of Miami illegally canceled their November election, giving their mayor and their city commissioners an additional term in office without the voters. Let that sink in. Elections canceled. Detention centers funded. This is authoritarianism in action. And the worst part is happening in broad daylight to one of the most visited states in the country. Florida brings in over $131 billion a year, and probably even more, because that was the numbers for 2023. And the majority of that money comes from domestic travelers. Yes, some of the most deeply marginalized groups live in Florida: immigrants, Black folks, queer folks. And here's what else is true. If people don't take drastic, intentional actions, this becomes our new normal. I've worked in the travel industry for a long time, and tourism is big business. But consider every dollar spent is a vote. And right now, the state of Florida is counting on us to continuously show up, even as they strip away rights.
And then we have the job market. So Florida's job market isn't offering anything, actually, anything in terms of upward mobility either. High-paying jobs in tech or finance are concentrated elsewhere, leaving mostly low-wage seasonal or gig work. And in rising insurance costs, hurricanes hitting small businesses, and layoffs across sector, Florida is no longer the land of opportunity many imagined. For visitors, this translates to fewer attractions, higher prices, and less of that famous Florida hospitality.
Florida is becoming impossible to live in, and I swear it's being done on purpose. And they're especially making homeownership so difficult. With the interest rates being as high as they are, we are also battling insurance prices being sky high, and people are completely priced out of homes that they could have bought 2 years ago or even last year. I have a friend that's selling her home because her insurance has increased over $10,000 in 1 calendar year with absolutely no claims. Car insurance continues to be high, and that's coming from somebody with a perfect driving record, no accidents. For the months of January and February, my electricity bill was over $250 for a 1,000 square foot condo, and I am not even running the heat when I'm not home.